Good evening. It's September 11th, 2017, 7 p.m., and this is the Speedway Town Council meeting. I'm Gary Rakes, President of the Council, and I'd like to welcome all those in attendance. I'm going to introduce those participating in the meeting this evening and then move forward to our pledge. To my far right is Councilor Eileen Fisher.
Good evening.
To my immediate right is Vice President of the Council, Jeff Matthews.
Good evening.
To my left is David Lindsay, Councilor.
Good evening.
His left is Jason Delisle, who's also a town councilor.
Good evening.
And our town manager, Jacob Blaisdell.
Good evening, Speedway.
And our clerk treasurer, Monty Combs.
Good evening.
As we stand to recite the pledge, I'd like for our outgoing water department supervisor, manager, to come forward and lead us in the pledge. And as you do, if you just give us a moment of silence, this being 9/11, just to remember 16 years ago, the events of 9/11.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Steve. We'll call you back later, Steve. Thank you. So the first couple of items on the agenda are minutes. One is we need to approve the town council meeting from August 28th. Are there any changes to that? We'll accept those as distributed. We had a executive session on that same date, August 28th. There's a memorandum for that. Are there any changes to it? Hearing none, we'll accept it as distributed. Item 4 on the agenda is approval of consulting agreement with American Structure Point. Jacob, could you outline that for us, please?
Yes, this is a consulting contract for design work on what is an MPO-approved project for a left turn lane along Crawfordsville Road. As a lot of people have noticed, if you're driving westbound on Crawfordsville and you'd like to turn left into one of the shopping centers there, there is no left turn lane, and so folks just stop right in the middle of the road, and 40 to 50 mile per hour traffic, creating a pretty dangerous situation. So we actually got approved for a safety MPO project, which is a little bit higher of a match from the MPO. And this is the design work to design the work from American Structure Point.
Great. We have a motion?
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve the consulting agreement with American Structure Point.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve a consulting agreement with American Structure Point. Any questions? I do have one question. This is actually in Speedway, but it's Crawfordsville Road, and typically this is the city's responsibility. So, not sure why we're doing this. I should maybe ask you before when I saw this on the agenda, but didn't think of it till literally just now. And you may not know the answer to this one. I know we have Wendell Walters here. He may or may not. Why we're taking this one as opposed to the city. I know MPO, you mentioned MPO's involvement in this. Just want to try and understand the responsibilities on this project.
You're right. It is Crawfordsville Road is a responsibility of the city. It's a county thoroughfare plan. We worked with our MPO to capture the money for the safety program there. Working with Annapolis, it wasn't on their schedule, so they had a call-out project for future 2022. So we put in the application and was awarded to get that on the project list. I don't know if that gives you the answer that you needed, but and this is now moved up 2020.
I think so, yeah.
They moved the project up for us once again for us.
Great. Thank you. That answered mine. You can stay put for a second if you want.
I have one quick question. Jacob, this is with American Structure Point, is that correct?
That's right.
Okay, all right.
Okay. No other questions?
Well, I was thinking that it was with somebody else, but
Yeah,
I
that's
guess
why I
not.
asked.
Well,
So this is not the corridor study that we've been talking about that we applied for this week. This is an approved project.
Okay.
And so this is just the design work for that project.
Got it.
The
Okay.
other project is for design grant, so that we could look at the full corridor down through there.
Okay. Thank you.
great. Any other questions? Yeah, I'll go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor of approving the consulting agreement as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 5-0. And we move on to reports from department supervisors. We have a department supervisor that's retiring this month, and this will be his last meeting with us. We're going to make him churn and burn. We're going to have you wait for a little while, Steve, and have your fellow department leaders come forward and give their reports. Maybe they've got some things they want to say to you or about you or any number of things. So, Jim Campbell, if you come forward, please.
I just told him we're going to miss him, so that should be enough of a public statement, but we will miss you, Steve, you know that. First of all, I have a couple of thank yous that I want to do, and, you know, the first one, I don't have a PowerPoint demonstration. I do have the picture, so we're on a little different scale here. That's a picture of our new motorcycle garage. And, you know, first of all, I got to say that we need to thank Ron Fisher for the leadership and coordination to make that possible. We also had a couple of, you know, Allison's Transmission and the Lions Club were two of the donors for that. You know, when you look at that, I mean, not a lot of windows, but we don't need them. Our motorcycles had been kept somewhere else that you really don't want to know, but this provides us an excellent garage, and I'd say if you get a chance, you might want to check with Norm if he'll let you on his property, but Norm's our security for the garage. But I do want to thank Ron Fisher. We had several volunteers, some within the department, but it's an excellent facility for what we want to do, and we do appreciate that. The other one is about a week ago, we had Prax Air came over. I think I mentioned it to you at the last meeting, but, you know, they brought volunteers who, well, they helped paint the outside of our building. I don't know if you've driven by and noticed that yet, but, you know, their volunteers helped paint, you know, really along the baseline, and some of our folks got up on the ladders and painted the, you know, the metallic top part of it. Our friends at the fire department did power wash it for us to get us started. They also painted one of the hallways on the inside, you know, when you come in. And, you know, I can't say enough. We went out and thanked them, obviously, and, you know, truly appreciated what they did. There was probably 20 or so people involved in that. So, you know, it's just good when businesses in this town do that kind of support for us. It's truly appreciated. The other one is a date for your calendar. Our National Night Out will be October 3rd. This year it's going to be in Leonard Park, and it'll be 5:30 to 7:30. But that's October 3rd, Leonard Park. The next date is, you know, we are going to have an air show, October 15th. You know, if you didn't get a chance to see that last year, it's pretty interesting and entertaining. You know, I would encourage you to come out. You know, we put in a lot of the same security measures, you know, that you do for any major event in this day and age. You know, the airplanes flying over folks gives you a little different concern than maybe some events. But it's pretty amazing what those guys do with those airplanes. The last one is, I think we had a very successful LGPA golf tournament over at IMS last week. Pretty well attended for them, and I think it brought a lot of positive publicity that, you know, was good for IMS and good for the town of Speedway. Obviously, we had officers along with some from other departments that were hired to provide security for that event, and, you know, it was a very positive outing. So that's what I have.
Thank you for your report. Any questions?
Thanks, Chief.
Fire Chief Bob Fishburne.
Thank you. Chief Campbell always gets to go first and say thank you, but we really do appreciate the work that
We could fix
Praxair.
that next time if you'd like.
You know, it's all right. It's all right. It's good to thank them twice. Praxair really did a nice job helping us out, and sometimes you worry about volunteers and, you know, how things will turn out, but, they did a great job in the hallway, and, we've got just to replace the base. And I would say on the outside of the building, it saved us thousands of dollars, really, with police and fire pitching in to get some of that. They did some of the lower stuff that they didn't have to get up on ladders, and we do thank them for that. I also want to thank Marathon for the 3-day training that we did with all the other Marion County departments, and Carmel came down, not because we do mutual aid with Carmel, but because the class was so good and thorough that other departments wanted to be a part of it. Chief Lynch set that up with Marathon, and they're great corporate partners. While we were over there, Marathon let us know that Glenn Barr is actually going to be retiring after 42 years at Marathon. And Glenn recommended that we put in for a grant that we'll have a high likelihood of getting. Chief Lynch has already filled all that out. We did the same thing with Firehouse Sub Grant. All that's already been submitted. We're hoping to offset some of the cost of hose and some things that, that they like to buy for us, which will help with, budgetary things. So,
Where's that grant through? Is that through Marathon?
yeah.
Through their corporate?
Yeah. So, just to reiterate what Chief Campbell said, it really is great to have those corporate partnerships, and the way that they support public safety is awesome. So, we did talk with Captain Deerdorf. We'll be a part of National Night Out. It won't be a huge thing, but we'll be over there for kids to climb around and, be out in the community. That's a great event, and glad to hear it's kind of switching back and forth, so we could go north end, south end with Leonard and Meadowood. We will be performing our chief's interviews for our hiring list. Merit Board met today. They'll certify that list. Don't have an opening yet, but we anticipate that we'll be hiring someone off of that list if things go as we anticipate. So really that's all I've got for you. I do want to wish Steve well, and I've not been here very long compared to Steve, but he's been around here ever since I was hired, and he seems like he's always done a great job. He's worked well with the fire department over all these years and put up with all of us as he's come up through the ranks. So, Steve, you've earned it, and enjoy it.
Thank you, Chief. Next up would be Wendell Walters, our Public Works Director.
Good evening, council. Just want to say it's been a pleasure working with Steve. We've worked fire, streets, everything, water leaks, so enjoy your retirement, enjoy your trailer. Dorothy, take care of him.
I'll try my best.
If I can keep him till January? No? Okay. That was quick.
Wendell, you probably work with him the most on a day-to-day basis of the
Over the
department
last
supervisors
11
that came
years or
forward.
so, yes.
What stories could you tell right now? Just one that really gave away.
That he's the most easygoing person I've ever encountered. He takes care of business, and I think he enjoys it. I think he's going to enjoy retirement a lot more. Those midnight calls and 3 o'clock calls get tiresome sometimes. So, but thank you, Steve. Just on the street department side, 16th and Lyndhurst project is in full operations. Talking with the police department, we had a little backup over the weekend. So we're going to install a no left turn sign northbound on Lyndhurst at 16th Street to keep that traffic moving through there. And we will make adjustments as necessary as we see that benefits the traffic flow up through there. So we're about a week off schedule. IPL has not got their poles moved so that we could start complete tear out. Then we had an issue with a TNT fiber lines that wasn't identified on the first go-around of the construction meetings. So it's thrown us off about a week. The contractor is still thinking 17th, end of November, we should make the schedule. So 90 days, we'll have a new intersection.
Will that be
Sticking
concrete?
to it. Yes, sir, yes. So just that quick update on the 16th Street project. The crews are out doing the cleaning. Street maintenance is ongoing as always. The street sweeper is out running because we're starting to have more debris getting into the gutters and stuff and trying to keep them out of the storm. The light pole finally, after an 8-month wait on getting built, has been installed on 5600 Crawfordsville. That island there, finally we got that put back up. And we want to thank Praxair also. They volunteered to work in the parks. They helped Mike and his guy over there get mulch put out and spruce the parks back up. But a big thank you to Praxair. So, okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Steve, where you coming? You coming up? No, come on up. We're just giving you, we don't want to make it easier tonight. Do you want to bring your wife with you? No. I'm sorry, do you want to bring your boss with you? She said no.
Well, now, she did mention that last week about I'm going from being a boss to being bossed. So I don't think that's such a bad idea, really, but we'll see.
That's great. Well, you want to give a report, and then we'll give you a hard time?
Well, my report is just that, I've been thinking, 39 and a half years, thinking back over all those times, and you don't realize just how much stuff accumulates because you're coming one day at a time. I invited my wife to come to this event because of her support and her patience of all the times I haven't been home due to stuff happening here at the plants or out in the distribution system. Sometimes I felt like I was living at the plant more than I was at home. So she never really gave me a hard time about it. So I wanted to have her come share this honor with me tonight. I started working here March 1st, 1978, and I was able to become the assistant superintendent under Mike in 1985, I believe it was, and then I moved up to had the privilege of serving as superintendent since 2009. So I've done the gamut, from reading meters, meter repair, distribution maintenance and repair, plant operations and maintenance and so forth, teaching the younger guys that come in, passing my knowledge on because they're going to need it. So it's been, even getting overseeing plant design, for new treatment systems, that was something special for me. So I've done just about everything related to Speedway water systems and the plants. So it has been a very varied job. Sometimes you'd come in the morning, expecting to do one thing, and it'd be a totally different agenda for the day, just depending on what happens. So I think that because the job was so varied, I enjoyed it. I did, really did. Even the 3 o'clock in the morning stuff, getting called on the weekends. There was a couple of holidays in there too, that I was late for, because of stuff going on. But I think the thing I'm going to treasure the most is the opportunity to work with department heads and their staff, both past and present. We developed some good working relationships and friendships. And not only Speedway staff, but the engineers and contractors and vendors that all helped me keep that plant running and the water pumping. And it's just been can't say it's been a joy all the time, but it was a pleasure coming to work most times. And so I have no regrets working here in Speedway. Speedway, in my view, is a special place. I've seen a lot of changes, ebb and flow. Looks like we're on a good track now. So, like I say, I don't regret working all these years for the town of Speedway. I don't regret retiring.
You've earned it.
I'm ready, my wife is ready to begin our next phase of our life. So, again, thank you.
Will you stay here in Indy? Will you go anywhere for the winters, or what do you have plans to do?
No, I've got too many grandchildren. Doubt very seriously we go anywhere too far for too long. We do love our grandkids, and so
That's great.
with that, I'm going to conclude my final report.
Well, a couple of counselors want to maybe go up there and present this to Steve. I'll start. Actually, if all of you want to, we could go up for a picture. You want to do that? You want to take a picture? No. Okay. This is a little bit of a unexpected thing to our guys running cable, so I think standing behind the podium was best that they could actually get it on the camera here. On the other side, in front of the electric pole, the other side here.
Dirty for you.
In front of here.
Make sure Eileen gets in the shot. There we go. Here.
All right, 1, 2, 3. All right.
Thank you. Steve, if you just stay for a second, just on behalf of the council, I'm sure the others are going to say some things up here, but certainly want to congratulate you on a career well done.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure to get to know you and to work beside you and have you taking care of our town in so many different ways.
Thank you.
Stay put if you would. I'm sure we're going to razz you a little more.
It's all right, what was that?
Said don't leave.
So, I'll open it up to other counselors that might want to make, please do, yes. Maybe starting down with Monty. 'Cause I know you're going to give a report in a moment, but you might want to.
I'm the short guy here. I haven't been around Steve all that long, but he's been special coming in, and we get a kick out of him. And he's always got some laid-back attitude toward us and just says, here you go, whatever you do with it, do with it. So, great guy. Enjoyed it very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I wish I was doing the same thing, actually.
Soon enough.
Jacob?
No, never mind.
Yeah, no, and actually, I'm the short guy. I've had the least amount of time getting to work with Steve, but I will say that even though I think we first met, and you basically said, yeah, nice to meet you, but don't get too comfortable. I'm on my way out anyway, and I'm not really going to break in another town manager, so I'm just going to get out of here. Despite that, I really liked Steve a lot, and everyone's talking about the laid-back demeanor, which you've probably heard before, Steve, and I think you just immediately reminded me, in a good way, of a character in my favorite movie, which is The Big Lebowski. And I just mentioned it, but sometimes there's a man, and I'm talking about Steve here. Sometimes there's a man. Well, he's the man for his time and place. He fits right in there, and that was Steve, the dude in Speedway. And, just appreciate getting to know you, and thanks for years of service to the town.
I never thought we'd ever hear The Big Lebowski ever quoted in a council meeting.
Had
Thank
to be
you.
the first,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, literally quoted.
Born when he started here.
Yeah, I think there's at least one, maybe two at the head table that were not born when you started in March 1st of '78, but and one person had graduated high school. It wasn't me. Just keep going, guys.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for your service to the town. I was born in '76, so I was what, 1 year old, yeah, 2. But yeah, I've been a longtime resident. And just remember growing up, you know, especially when you're little, you don't think much about the water running or really any of the utilities for that matter. But, you know, never an issue. And as I've gotten a chance to work with you at least a little bit on my time here on the council, you know, I just appreciate you taking the time to inform us about things that have been going on. And yeah, it's been great working with you. So enjoy your retirement.
Thank you.
A lot of people know I started working for the town in August, actually, it's August 8th of '88 was my hire date for the town. I wonder if Steve would have imagined the guy that called him at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning about a water main break would be a guy that'd be sitting here thanking him for his years of service.
Was that you?
That was me. And I will say, well, yeah, and I will say Steve was a pleasure to call at 2 or 3 in the morning because there's a lot of people I called at 2 or 3 in the morning that didn't like to hear from me, and they let me know about it. But it's great to have someone that can run a department that when we know he's out there working, that things are going to be done and they're done the right way. And I've been here for 6 years, and knowing that you're down there and that you were running the show and things are done the right way. I think a couple of years ago I went down and talked to you, and we toured the plant and talked about things, and
Sure.
it's been a pleasure to work with you, and happy retirement.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Or Jeff, would you?
I mean, hearing the comments, and I've seen you in meetings and things of just your laid-back, you know, approach. I hope that a lot of people at least take that away from you being here as many years. And there's so many people that just are in a hurry up and bustle type, you know, get things done, and things are brought to you, such as a water main break, and you just casually take care of it, you know. So it's good to know, and, you know, I wish you well on your retirement, so good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks for your service.
Yeah, Steve, thank you so much. You know, you've taken a pretty stressful position and you've made it your own. So it's been a pleasure working with you. I'm going to miss your reports, for one. So enjoy your retirement, and thanks again for everything.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have much to add, except I'm going to guess you're not going to miss the reports.
Not a bit. Not a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Might even write one tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I'll just, again, say thank you on behalf of everybody here, and I look forward to maybe inviting you back for other reasons, you know, ice cream socials with employees or whatever we might end up doing, but thank
Okay.
you for your service.
Well, thank you all for the nice words. It's a good send-off, and I appreciate the nice words from you guys. We'll excuse Norm tonight. I will write him a note.
Please do.
Hey.
Strongly worded.
Well, he wrote us one saying he wasn't coming, but no, he didn't, not at all. I'm sure he hated not being here.
I don't have much else to say either, so thank you.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Again.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Steve.
Steve.
Thank you again. These are, I know for fellow counselors and town manager and clerk treasurer, these are the moments that it's really a joy to be a counselor and to serve in the town, where you can recognize someone who served for 4 decades. It's an amazing amount of time, so. I really do appreciate evenings like this. We're going to move to Monty and his report.
Yes, before you, Mr. President and the council, for the claims for the period of August the 26th through September the 8th, and would appreciate your approval.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the claims as presented by Clerk Treasurer.
Second?
We have a motion to approve the claims as presented. Any questions or changes or comments? All those in favor of approving the claims as presented, say aye.
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 Opposed? Carry 5-0.
Utility adjustments, very short report on those, and ask for your approval on those for the same time from August 26th to September the 8th. just, what, 3 here, I think, totaling $12.63. So glad to see it in very small pages, every page.
Mr. President, I make a motion, we accept the utility adjustments as presented.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the utility adjustments for a very small number of dollars. It's good to see. Any questions or changes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 5-0. Again, Monty, thank you for, it seems that, first of all, we're not having a lot of adjustments, and we're having such low dollar amounts. I hate to even say it, because we'll have a big one next month when we
In the
do.
right direction.
Yeah.
If I may add one more thing, Mr. President. It's that time of year where we have to put liens against properties that are owed the town for their sewer bills. We started in late July of $140,000 worth of receivables that hadn't been paid. We sent out the pre-lien letter and managed to get ahead of time collect half of that. So we did have to go through with $70,000 on liens for this period. And again, as I say, 98% of those are from the folks who live outside the town of Speedway that we collect sewer bills from. So we'll have those, and we'll see what happens with the fall property taxes and how much we can collect of that.
Great.
That's
Thank
all I
you.
have.
Okay. Report from our town manager.
Yes, great, thank you, Mr. President. First thing I want to cover is we, obviously at the last meeting on second reading, passed the smoking ordinance that prohibited smoking within the parks. Received a lot of feedback, overwhelmingly very positive feedback. A lot of people liked the ordinance and liked the step that we took. One criticism or concern, I should say, that I did hear a lot of was, well, what about my private property, which is within 50 feet of a park? What does that do to me? Obviously, we'd love for you to observe that buffer, that 50-foot buffer in your private property, but it's certainly not going to be enforced. It's certainly not enforceable. So just don't want anybody concerned about that. And then the other question or concern that I heard a lot of was, well, what about vaping or other types of smoke? It's just tobacco smoke that's prohibited under the ordinance. So just want to make sure folks are clear on what that is. If you have additional questions, feel free to reach out. But just wanted to kind of cover those, just the sort of things I've heard around town and questions that I've gotten into my office. Also want to update the demolition on the shopping center area by TJ Maxx has begun. And actually walking out today, so they were working on the facade in a lot of areas, but they're actually demolishing now the building that is to the west of the TJ Maxx. So that's moving along well. We're excited to see that happening. And then I'm also excited to announce that we have agreed with a new parks director. We're going to wait to formally announce the name, but we do have a parks director, and the individual will be starting at the beginning of October. So excited to do that. And then I'll go ahead and do my bi-weekly plug for the Speedway Home Helpers Program. We have gotten a lot of applicants as well as volunteers, but again, it's going to coincide with Indy Due Day, which is occurring on September 29th and the 30th this year. So if you have a disability or don't have the means to make basic home improvements or clean up the yard or just basic stuff that you can use help with around your house, please reach out to myself or Michelle Leidy. And if you're interested in volunteering, we'd love to have you do that as well. Same thing, reach out to myself or Michelle. And that's all I have for my report.
Great, thank you. Just keep coming on down the table, like report from counselors. Jason?
Yeah, so I would like to put in a quick plug for our Speedway cable channel, which is now streaming on YouTube. The address is youtube.com/s/Speedway Community TV. And you should find Town Council, SRC, and several other meetings there that are now streaming online. /C? All right, maybe it's youtube.com/C-/Speedway Community TV. But if you're having trouble finding it, you can send one of us an email. We can help out with that, or you can always call Jacob.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll help you find that if you're having trouble finding it. But it is on YouTube, like I said. That's it for me.
Great, thank you. David?
Nothing tonight, sir.
Eileen, anything?
I've got nothing.
Jeff?
Thank you, Mr. President. Last week, I met with a couple of representatives from the Speedway Center of the Arts. They've got some really cool things coming up. One being Saturday, September 23rd, from 5 to 9, there's going to be a new exhibit. It's going to run to the 26th of October, but the open house is the 23rd from 5 to 9, and it's an automotive and aviation art exhibit. Really cool photos, paintings, maybe some sculptures. So it'll be just in time for the Red Bull Air Race and the SECA runoff. So stop by 1340 Main Street, check that out. So that's all I've got.
Great, thank you. Just a few things here. I mentioned early on it's 9/11 and want to recognize those who gave their lives that day in New York and in Washington and in Pennsylvania, and to those who actually joined the service as a result of that and served, or maybe still serve. I secondly have been participating in the Speedway Citizens Academy for the police department. I started that last year and had a scheduling conflict with my day job, so I'm excited to be back in that this fall. If you've not done that, I highly advise it. It's fun. The LPG event this weekend that was mentioned by Chief Campbell was really fun to go and see people hit the ball a lot further and better than I ever do, and some scores were amazing in terms of how well they did, and the turnout Saturday in particular was great. I think they exceeded expectations for the crowd, and it's the first of at least 3 years, maybe a 5-year deal, and so that was pretty exciting. Just to congratulate Steve again, and then congratulate the schools. I noticed last week that they outperformed all of the Marion County public schools, and when I sent something to Superintendent Hall, he said that his goals are larger than that. He appreciated the compliment, but his goals are to outperform the other surrounding schools, the donut counties, as best he can as well. So I think our schools are fantastic and appreciate the work that our teachers and administrators and parents, who are an integral part of that, do to make that happen. So with that, I'm done with my report, and unless there's anything else, we'll go ahead and call this meeting adjourned at 7:37.